Hello, everybody, and welcome. We are getting straight into the action. As you can see, Ex-Epsilon up against Illuminar, going to be a pretty interesting one. Getting underway here on Overpass. Bit of an interesting start, I would say. It's pretty aggressive from the Ex-Epsilon side. Not really going too well for them either. A lot of heads getting taken off here by the CTs. The Crucial comes in with a pretty influential 2k there. Oh, stomp. However, from Water staying alive, how is he still alive? Crucial's not able to deal with him. The gap going to close, and Mono finds the final kill. Illuminar will pick up that first pistol round. A bit of a topsy-turvy one, a bit of a crazy one, but all the same, they're able to get it on the board. They're not too bothered at this point how they do it, just that they do indeed do it. No bomb plant for Ex-Epsilon. So not really going to expect too much from them yet. Just a few P250s into play. Interesting to note as well, I suppose some kind of recent developments. Thomas playing with these boys. You can't really call them a lineup at the moment. They don't really have an org. Alongside, you know, Surreal probably bringing him in kind of thing. The two UK lads. So we'll see whether that's interesting. He's one of the most consistent fraggers to come out of the UK scene, really. And, you know, moving back to Endpoint in the UK, and then, you know, after his stint with No Chance, then they became Smash, and then, you know, like I say, moving to Endpoint, now to Ex-Epsilon, apparently. So a little bit of a nomadic kind of player. And as we're talking about him so far, he's the only one to have picked up a kill in this round. Stomp really struggling to pick up the M4 there, but gets it in the end. And Spellin, the only one left, is sort of wasting time, to say the least. Hoping to maybe catch someone off guard here on the B bomb site. Does hear Oscarish running around, but unfortunately not going to be coming his way. And you don't want to be surviving after time when all you've got is a Glock and $2,000 in the bank. So probably going to see him running towards this bomb and eventually getting taken down pretty quickly. So, clean second round from Illuminar. It's definitely dragged out there by Spellan being on the other side of the map, but all the same, bit of a throwaway round from the European mix, I suppose. Two Bulgarians, two Brits, and a Dutchman, if I am not mistaken. Certainly an interesting mix, and that's one thing to consider. You know, I think some of the players, definitely Crucial and Surreal, obviously, you know, going to have been talking in English and communicating with each other for quite some time, having played in mixed lineups before. But the Bulgarian boys, not so sure. I believe Spellan, yeah, I mean, he will have moved to this team quite a while ago, wouldn't he, when it was all Keto and, you know, everybody playing here, Brocky playing for the Epsilon side. Meanwhile, the Poles on the other side of things, looking to make quick work of Ex-Epsilon on Overpass, and definitely doing so, looking really good early on. Quick little 2k coming in. It seems to be, I wouldn't even say falling apart, because it's not really gotten off the ground for the T side. However, they are giving them a lot of aggressive fights here. Reitz will trade back, keep the man advantage. Crucial's been spotted, and Crucial has been eliminated by Mono. 10 HP, easiest kill of his life. And now all on to Thomas in the 1v3. Got a lot to do. The bomb out in no man's land. He's only got a smoke in his hand. So not really looking too good at the moment for Thomas. Making a lot of noise as well. Not expecting that player up close. And a third round for Illuminar very quickly onto the board. Interesting to see, you know, it's kind of a difficult one. Overpass, I think, does have, you know, a fair amount of structure. Not quite as slow and methodical as some of the other maps out there, you know, the Infernos and the Nukes of the world. But it's also not a puggy map. I think it's a nice, healthy middle ground. More based on how you play the rotational game. You know, the executes and the utility usage itself is not a massive, massive part, but you know, obviously helps getting the bomb down, but it's this CT side aggression, and then it's kind of how do the Ts deal with that? How do they bait out information, bait out aggression, catch off aggression? At the moment, not so well. They're only on the half buy, you know, the pistols, bit of armor, some utility. But again, similar to the first 3 rounds, they've not had a chance to really make any of it work, to really do anything with any of it. So, kind of lackluster early on from Ex-Epsilon here. Really going to need to find out what is going wrong, and fast, because it's going very wrong. And if this continues, it's going to be a very, 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 very one-sided affair in favor of the Poles. Which is fair enough. This Illuminar side, I think, you know, what was left from like the XCOM team, because XCOM Argo like mixed together as orgs and sort of mixed together as teams, and then this is what's left is this squad, and they've been doing pretty well. Nice little crisp one coming in from Thomas. Actually, a second of the round, so potential. But yeah, he walked straight into the AWP, and I think even if he'd have found that one, or, you know, a missed shot from Stomp, Oscarish was there, 3 HP, easy. So definitely doing some damage towards the end. Again, Thomas living up somewhat to that fragging capacity that he's got, the explosive nature that he has. But Illuminar just looking good, looking clean, still surviving with the bare minimum of 3, keeping it rolling. Really feeling themselves, getting to a pretty good point. Relatively even in terms of the raw statistics, you know, over on the second analyst HLTV. So it should, in theory, be a bit of a close one. Illuminar have got a few more maps played, but, you know, Epsilon or Ex-Epsilon, definitely comfortable, right? Definitely capable. But new addition, still, I think we're ironing out kinks and whatnot. You know, Spellan and NK, you kind of have to feel have played together previously, just being from that Bulgarian scene. So, and Victor was in place of Thomas. Obviously now not the case. Again, a bit of a nomadic player himself is Victor. Not quite sure. I feel like what may be part of the issue with him is perhaps something that goes on outside the game, if that makes sense. A lot of damage coming in onto Stomp, though. Enough conjecture from me. However, Thomas moving forwards on his own. Reitz actually picks up 2 before going down. So again, this systemic destruction seems to be coming in, looking really good. Advanced position from Innocent, not expected by Surreal at all. Everyone on the Ex-Epsilon side seems to be very, very out there, very hard to call. Nice little shot comes in from NK, but it's a double spray down from Mono to finish it off. Easy stuff for Illuminar so far, and yeah, Ex-Epsilon, it's almost no contest, and we're only 5 rounds in, but already I am feeling very worried for this mixed squad. Considering, I believe, a couple seasons ago, they won, or at least came very, very highly placed. It would have been quite a while ago now. But all the same, you know, they were looking good. They were a hot prospect, but it seemed like this squad, or, well, this organization, I should say, is a little more of a stopgap for some of these teams. You know, Smuya has been in this team and moved on. Brocky now been in this team and moved on. Keto been in this team and moved on. They're all, like, relatively big names, and some players stick around and facilitate that, such as Surreal and Crucial. Definitely good in their own rights, but oh, not quite as flashy. Barrel sticking out there, Oscarish doesn't seem to care. He just peeks up and makes quick work of Thomas. So once again, clean, confident, loving their aggression. Really looking good here on the Illuminar side of things, as it just seems to continue. Ooh, very lucky. Mono is so lucky, actually, to be getting away here. 14 HP. Smoke comes down, and that completely covers his escape. But yeah, very, very lucky indeed, actually. I think that will be pretty much all she wrote for this. Oh, nice little flick from Stomp coming in. But yeah, easy stuff. As I was saying, I think this is the point where Ex-Epsilon need to be like, right, we need a round. We need a round, because it is very, very quickly becoming troublesome. You get to 6 or 7 rounds in a row. You know, I was doing some casting yesterday, and 2 games, it was like, I think there was 6 rounds. One of the games, there was like 9 rounds in a row before the opposition was able to pick up a round. And eventually, the strong start that the winning team got off to was the difference. You know, there was 6 rounds, 9 rounds in the difference. So once they got the ball rolling, you know, the opposition were able to fight back and bounce back and go tit for tat back and forth. But obviously that mathematical advantage that you've already got is indeed that, right? The advantage, the thing that allows you to win the game. And I think Illuminar here need to respect that and need to recognize that. And if Ex-Epsilon are able to pull something out of the bag, make sure they can bounce back and keep it coming back in their favor, keep the momentum shifting. Meanwhile, Ex-Epsilon need to really, really, really quickly sort this out. And once they do, they need to keep it rolling. Oh my goodness, Surreal. If you'd have sprayed and then thrown the nade, you never know. Could have made all the difference, but timing, the name of the game. Timing goes the way of Illuminar, at least for now. See how it goes as the round goes on. A bit more utility expended on B, drawing a lot of tension here, and actually dedicating Thomas and just narrowly misses out on that. What? Reeds? What are you doing? What are you doing? He's just spun around and snapped his teammate's head off, and that could actually make such a difference here. Spellen's found one. A missed shot comes in from Stomp at long, and a man advantage, a bomb plant. The AWP's position is known. Ex-Epsilon kind of have no right of winning this one, but it looks like they might just. Great little gap there from Surreal. Unfortunately, not quite able to capitalize. Still trying to retake. They do have a great deal of cash coming in. Flash out of bank gives a bit more control. A frag comes in for Reach. Nice shot from Stomp into a 3 versus 2, but the bomb is ticking away. Going to be difficult. The defuse coming in, but the spray is clean from Crucial. Nice molly to push him off the angle, but I feel like they needed to find the frags before they got someone on the bomb. There is still time for Oscarish. If NK can't find this... Oh, NK, that's miles off. He runs out of ammo. The defuse comes in. And Illuminar have gotten their 7th round. What a mess from both teams. What an absolute mess. But all the same, it's the Poles to come out on top and to continue this string of rounds. This never-ending string of rounds, it seems. But, yeah, that's an interesting way of going about winning, to be honest. Cast your mind back to Reets. Shooting his own teammate. Yeah, so... the chaotic element, Thomas, definitely causing chaos. However, really great retake coming in from this man especially. Stomp on this AWP, so consistent, so clean. Picks up 2, does get a bit greedy for a 3rd, but, I mean, you've already pulled your weight and then some for the round. You're also 7 rounds in a row. You can kind of see why. You can give him the benefit of the doubt in this one round. Just maybe rein it in the next. The T's spread out across the map as well. This is not looking good at this point in time. And we'll begin to group up, so, you know, the aggression that comes in from Illuminar is not crazy. They're not going to go mental. They're not going to give the opportunity across, just looking to use the numbers. Going to rotate towards the A-bomb site pretty heavily as well. Look on your mini-map there. They've got Innocent pushed into a very aggressive position towards T-spawn, so they'll have all the information in the world. Maybe there is a chance they walk down connector. Think he should be able to hear them if they go running, but Reach is, you know, still around, still watching short and just making sure. So, 2-2 split on the defense. Lining up some smokes. I believe 1 for... What are we going for? Dumpster, and then a molly towards bank is what they're going to go for. Not quite sold on the B-bomb site yet. They will begin to rotate, but it's all going to be down to Oscarish. Not a lot of time here, and they all go walking into Oscarish. The plant attempt from Crucial, but it's a feeble attempt. And that was very anticlimactic. Looks almost too easy for Illuminar, as, I mean, it has looked almost too easy the whole way through. Yeah. I don't know. We've got a Vanguard versus Havu coming up next, right? I suppose just to keep you guys in the loop. I felt like that would be the one-sided game of the evening. You know, 2nd place at the major. Runners-up of Vanguard. Winners of Blast Pro Moscow. But apparently Illuminar, they're looking to make it a dominant one this evening as well. It's certainly surprising. And I think now that they're up to 8 in a row, it is almost an insurmountable task for Ex-Epsilon X for a bit of a reason, and, you know, like I say, lacking that structure at the moment. Very loose in-game leader in the form of Spellan, because they just haven't had time. Thomas only just coming in. Still, I think, adjusting to the rotating spots within this team in terms of the 4th and 5th spot. And it is really showing. They're here on Overpass, a map that they generally do well on. They do have a fair amount of fragging power, but I think up against a team like Illuminar, who are so well drilled at this kind of, you know, MDL tier 2.5 sort of level, they are so good. They are so solid. Their CT sides are impenetrable in some cases, as we are seeing. Best chance they've had for a while, though. Ex-Epsilon go 1 for 1 on the B-bomb site. Nice swing from Oscarish to just quickly deal with Thomas. The flank is eliminated. A lot of damage done onto Spellan with the nade. Could definitely go for a wallbang here, but not going to opt for it is Stomp. Flash over the top. Spellan taking a wide angle, catches one player with a nade in hand. Not expecting such a wide angle. AWP on AWP action, but Stomp is playing it so passive, so careful. Will get spotted out, but the shot missed. The CZ up close. Surreal, he's got to find this frag. He will indeed, and I feel like Stomp in this 2-on-1 scenario. Not going to happen. Peeks up again, and Crucial takes him out. It takes them 9 rounds, but Ex-Epsilon have managed to get there first on the board. The question now is not, you know, can. It's more a question of will they get the 6 rounds in a row, the 7 in a row in total, because they need it. Sometimes we say it would be nice if you can get up to 5. It would be nice if you could get up to... But they are going to need to push the boat out completely as far as it goes. All the way into the river. Because it's still looking dire. Still 8-1. And, you know, 5-6 rounds including this one to go. Illuminar have got still a hell of a lot of room to work with. They'll be so happy if they only drop 1, then... and then, you know, swing it back in their favor immediately. They don't mind. They're cool with that. They've been a bit shook. They've been a bit tested, falling flat slightly in total to a B rush, and then some interesting decisions, you know, in terms of the off angles and things, and we're seeing it again. Some interesting decisions from Spellan, but he is landing clean headshots. Doesn't really matter. You might question his madness, but there is certainly a method in it. Thomas is almost too easy to read that he's on the flank towards B there. All the same, the 4v3 coming in, and despite the 8 in a row, the harsh mistress of the CT side, there's not a great deal of cash available, you know, in the bank, in reserve for Illuminar. However, they're still going to try and go for this. So confident in themselves, confident in the retake, despite being a man down, despite there being, you know, a Krieg on the post plant and an AWP to get through. They will manage to pick up 2 quick frags. However, the HP advantage for these final 2 players is absolutely massive. Do have a kit available, but 1 or 2 bullets from the AK would be enough. Clean little headshot from Spellan will get taken down. Oh my god, Oscarish has done it! Out of nowhere, just gets the double spray down. He's got a kit, he's got plenty of time to defuse, and Reach and he on the retake particularly are so clean. Rightly so, they're confident in themselves, because that was pretty nasty from the pair of them. However, only surviving with a couple players. They don't have the best amount of money coming into this one. Stomp had gone for an aggressive push. Gets tagged down very early indeed there. But as you can see, you know, MP9, no utility for Reets. Lack of utility for a couple, although, you know, Mono and Oscarish probably could have bought a bit more, but whatever. They're feeling really confident in themselves. You know, you win a round like that where you're 4v3 and it's all done by pretty much 2 players. You really do feel confident in yourself. Early B stack as well from the CT side there. Stomp will rotate back across, but he has taken so much chip damage through walls from nades that he's definitely feeling it. Bit of a limp in his step. Interesting smoke, bit of a gap in it. Maybe that's somewhat of a bait. You know, kind of that top end of short smoke. Not really doing much good. However, at least creating space for the 1-for-1. But I feel, you know, with only 40 seconds left with the way that they've been playing, that kind of gives the game away somewhat. Nice bait and switch coming in. Mono brings the man advantage back in favor of the CT side. Innocent as well with the MP9 getting cocky, getting aggressive. Mono finds another, and it's all onto NK. Can't get it done. 10th round for Illuminar. The domination seems set to continue. A blip on the radar for sure. A bit of a mistake. Not quite the cleanest sea of blue. There is some pollution in there. But not a lot. Not too much. Not dangerous levels just yet. And, well, it looks set to continue because, sure, it's a buy coming in from Ex-Epsilon, but is it? It's kind of kind to call it a full buy, isn't it? You know, a flash and a smoke. And, sure, 5 rifles, but 2 players with no head armor. Turns these 3 M4s essentially into higher fire rate AKs. Slightly scary stuff. Slightly scary indeed for Ex-Epsilon. They are, you know, really up the creek without a paddle, as an American buddy of mine would say. First kill going to come in for Illuminar as well. Seems set that the trend will continue. Still got this smoke and a flash. What can they get done with it? Gap in that smoke. Oscarish not quite respecting it. Does get tagged down. Taking 58 HP in damage. However, okay, he will get clapped, but he does get 1 before he falls, right? 4v2 coming in. A Krieg on the CT side. Need I say more? Should be a fairly simple one there for Innocent if indeed Surreal goes around that corner. Meanwhile, Crucial's on the other side of the map. Easy one for Innocent. And yeah, what can Crucial get done? He's been spotted out. Looks like it will be all but over for him within this round. The flank will start to come in. The rotation starts to come in. He gets tagged up by Stomp. Another peek from Stomp on the wall bang, in fact. And yeah, this Illuminar side, they're really scary when their AWPer is playing this well. And in recent weeks, I think he has definitely been improving, fitting in. Mono obviously having a stormer of a game as well, 18-5. Pretty good, pretty good. But credit where credit is due, the entire team. You know, there's not a single weak link. Whatever alloy this chain is made of, Illuminar certainly picked well because it's looking very good indeed. And Ex-Epsilon, we come towards the end of this first half. They're on the half buy. No utility, but they've got a number of pistols, and that's a nice one from NK. They were waiting for that. Innocent goes for the jump peak. Pays the price, so they have an advantage. And the thing is as well, in a round like this, you can get a bit more aggressive. You can play slightly looser. I think that's what they're going to go for. Tag on to Stomp. Baiting out this utility. And that's cool. It's 1 minute and 5 seconds remaining. The T's are not too bothered. So long as there are no Molotovs in the way, they're quite happy to run through smokes and, you know, run into flashes over the top. They are just looking to overwhelm this A bomb site. Sooner rather than later, it appears as well, and no real rotations have come in just yet. It's now a question of how long the CTs can survive. Mono probably needed to find a little more than that. Very labored spray down onto Surreal. Will make room for the bomb plant. A retrieved orb by Crucial. Gets Molotov out. Gets killed by the Molotov, in fact. He was pretty damn low. So that's nice. An olive branch for the CT side. A wide swing from Reitz and a clean headshot from Reitz. All onto Spellan in the 1v2. The bomb is planted for him, but he's on nothing but a scout. No armor either, and an easy spray down in the end. It will be the 12th round for Illuminar. The domination continues. They'll retrieve the AWP, and they'll be able to drop across to any teammates that do require it. But at the moment, with where the money is at, they're all good. And, you know, they can take this one. They probably pick up the 14-1 half. Loss bonus fully stacked up again for Ex-Epsilon. So I suppose if there's a bomb plant, it might be a bit more difficult. But I don't really think it's a question of economy. They could have all the money. They could, you know, spend everything. They could be buying M249s, which I believe is the most expensive weapon in the game. You know, over and over and over. Still wouldn't really make a difference. It's not about the money that they're spending. It's about what they're doing with the weaponry they purchase. Off angle from Oscar. It's going to be a double peek coming in here and doesn't really react in time. Reaches up close. He also gets taken out quickly. No casualties as yet. Spellan is left on 2 HP. And Innocent still in and around the B bomb site. However, they have quite a bit of map pressure going on the Ex-Epsilon side. Crucial's crept in. Innocent gets taken down. It's all onto Mono. He's been having a hell of a half, but not going to happen. And a nice little creep in, gotcha kind of play from Surreal and Thomas, the dynamic British duo, and it works out pretty damn well, to be honest. Still only a second round, still only a 12-3 half, the best that they can hope for, but it sounds better than 14-1. And also the money coming into this one for Illuminar is not the best. Again, you know, that harsh CT, the brittle CT economy means we've got a Deagle, glass cannon ore, no kits. But they're trying something a bit new. The boost up coming in. Thomas, thankfully for Ex-Epsilon, is able to get the trade. Follow-up frag from Thomas as well at Monster. Wide swing from Oscarish. Actually managed to get both of them. That headshot is perfect. Thomas was slightly low, slightly tagged up. It immediately frags him. Now into a 2-on-2, and the remaining 2 Ex-Epsilon players have very little idea of where to go. Which bomb site do they aim for? Do they try and catch off some aggression at B? That's why NK is still around. Or do they go A? Now, the choice is to go A. And Oscarish and Reitz, I think, are playing this smart. Not only in the sense that they've guessed the right bomb site, but also in the sense that they've gone together. So even if it is B, they will be together. And, you know, they can try and fight the trades rather than fighting 2 separate 1v2s. Reitz going to go towards long, though. Catches Spellan off guard. That will be the bomb. And, well, NK, I think, was hoping to find a straggling CT, hoping to get some kind of a flank in play. Just not going to happen. Can't be saving. Got to go for this. Comes in the CT stairs. Which entrance? It will be bank. So probably the correct decision. Slightly more closed off and a bit easier to train on all the separate angles. Oscarish will spot him out and will take him down. NK did not have the same luxury. And there we are. 13-2 on the half from Illuminar. Definitely surprising. Definitely surprising, to say the least. I was thinking it was going to be, you know, a little closer, in all honesty, from these two sides. And, well, I mean, I get proved wrong, don't I? Straight out of the door. It's a very, very one-sided affair. So, you know. Really surprising. I don't quite understand why. Like I say, you look at the raw statistics here, and ultimately 60% win rate for Ex-Epsilon over 10 maps, 57% win rate from Illuminar over 14. So, like, you know, why so one-sided? I suppose you've got Thomas coming in, but Thomas is kind of this chaotic sort of element, as I've mentioned, who can very easily just do what he wants. And yeah, and you don't really need to fully get that into the lineup. You don't fully need to incorporate him, give him a specific role. You can just say, look, you want to lurk? Go for it. You want to try and charge into a bomb site? Go for it. It's just kind of what he does, and he has so much like raw fragging potential that if it's working, brilliant. If it's not quite working, obviously it can have some problems, but I mean, he's not really lagging behind. He's not massively going, but I feel like it's because Illuminar are very prepared for Thomas, and their CT setups are just solid. Also, the individual's looking good. But here we go, into the second half pistol. Let's see, Illuminar, are they going to clean it up quickly, or will it be the boys from Ex-Epsilon coming back into things? CZ bought up for Thomas, and Nade as well. A peek into long from Spellan, and he doesn't take any damage, but he spots the entire team pretty much. Maybe not quite all of them, but calls on, you know, enough rotations. The bomb leading the way. P250 for Stomp. Also got the armor, the raid boss. Innocent a bit closer, able to close the gap and find the first frag. Flash comes in over the top, and oh, a quick 2K from Reitz there. They've kept it even, you know, they've kind of traded things back slightly, but it's that first initial contact that goes the way of the T side pretty decisively that is going to help them out. They will opt to push forwards here as well. The nade goes in. Doesn't really do much. It's Surreal with a 2K. However, they overestimate, or underestimated, I should say, their opponent. Reach, though, is looking to find the 4K overall. He's got the B bomb site. He's got the bomb. He's going to get the plant in easily enough. Thomas with this CZ, you know, it's great if they all come running into him. Interconnective and gets a quick headshot. That's what it's all about. Even has that one-tap potential in the pistol, and well, I thought the CZ was going to be difficult for him at that kind of range, you know, up against the USP, but he gets in at the perfect time, just as he was getting up off the bomb. Still not, you know, clean. You heard a couple shots ring off, but that was in desperation. They were quick. They weren't really aimed very well, and Ex-Epsilon get the pistol on the board. Maybe a chance for them to come back into it. I mean, we'll see here. Illuminar immediately getting the pressure back on. They got the bomb plant. We see this a lot these days where, in this case, I want to say Oscarish, obviously, but maybe Mono as well. I'm not entirely sure. Reet's actually got quite a few frags, so he's maybe bought up his own Krieg. But yeah, one player drops across. Maybe a couple do, actually, but they've opted to go for a bit more of a heavy utility buy rather than the heavy rifle buy that we see coming out when you get the bomb plant on that T side. And that's exactly why you do it. The Krieg is so deadly. My goodness, especially in the hands of a monster like Stomp. Surreal. Not a chance. Gets one, but it's traded back. The B bomb site falls. The 14th round slips away, and the game might just slip away off the back of it as well. Illuminar immediately right back on it. You know, there's always that slightly random element to the pistols in places. We saw the aggressive push forwards and a nice idea 3v1, but then Surreal brings it into a 1v1. Obviously dies for the fact, but a round that really had no right in being that close. Thomas gets good timing. Can you rely on that to happen again? Well, no. You get overwhelmed by the Krieg, particularly of Stomp, but just the individuals and the play that Illuminar were going for. They have prepped for something like that where it's a little bit of a lower utility buy. You just kind of walk in and catch some players off guard. So I'll get the 14th, and like I say, that money is just not really there for Ex-Epsilon. The two saved rifles are UMP, but no kits. Spellhand does have a lot of utility. Nobody else really able to compete with the amount of utility that he's got. It's not ideal. It's not looking good. It's not looking workable. Illuminar, I mean, this is their chance to close it out, really. At the very least, hit the 15 rounds and, you know, require a 12 round in a row comeback from Ex-Epsilon. And I, for one, at this point in time, not quite sold. We did see Ex-Epsilon, though, on that T side. They excelled in rounds like this, where it was slightly looser, slightly faster, less risk associated. Oh, great flash comes in, though, there. And Illuminar are taking no risks. Spellhand will go down easily enough. The A-bomb site kind of goes with it. There is still Crucial around, and a quick rotation from Thomas. He gets one, but Smoke pushes him out for now. I'm going to try and go for a quick boost. Yes, they are indeed, as the bomb plant's actually coming in towards that side. They're not quite able to get over the top. Crucial, though, strikes, right? Picks up one, looks to get a second. Maybe he could do some more damage here, but difficult to tell. His position is known. They're not really peeking into him. However, Oscarish gets triple peeked. The bomb not planted for this player on the flank, so he kind of has to push forward. He's lost his teammate as well. He loses his life. So there we go. Ex-Epsilon, they'll actually manage to get that round on the board. Like I say, slightly more aggressive, faster. And the fact that Crucial clocks on based off the information he gets from Spellhand, that it's like, okay, they've put a lot of pressure on Long. Crucial's like, oh, well, I'm going to take a gamble and assume that pretty much all of them are there. Going to hide at short. He only gets one, but he buys time. He becomes a distraction for his teammates to utilize, right? His teammates to catch Illuminar off guard with. They get the bomb plant, though. They had a bit of money in tow. Okay. Spellhand, I'm not entirely sure. The flash comes in. It's way too late, though. He's round the corner. He's peeking. He's getting shot at. And, well, they're ready for the two-man boost. Reeks will take out Thomas into a 5 versus 3 very quickly indeed. Illuminar, once again, you know, as has been the case throughout the game, it seems, as soon as they lose a round, they're immediately able, to get the return, to get the spin around and make sure that they figure out what went wrong very quickly. They come back from it. Speaking of coming back, can Ex-Epsilon find anything else, or, well, anything at all, actually, in this round? We'll see. Timing could be pretty big here for NK. Crucial's going to find the flanker, but NK's looking the wrong way. Sees that attention over on the A bomb site, turns away. He's left on 2 HP. That could have been everything, especially with the Krieg in hand. Quick little headshot onto Reetz. Got to be careful giving him the chances here. Surreal finds another. Actually, a man advantage for Ex-Epsilon now. With the bomb being out in no man's land. NK over at short, I don't think they quite realize how low he actually is. They're very unsure of themselves. However, Innocent, slightly unorthodox, pushes forwards. Picks up the first. Mono will find Surreal. It's all going to be onto NK. Timing could be everything. He will manage the first, but the nade goes in. And 2 HP. I mean, it could have exploded 10 feet away from him. Probably would have killed him. And he tries his damnedest. They all do on the Ex-Epsilon side. Actually, a lot closer than you would have thought after a very quick 5v3 goes their way. Brought down to a 1v1, but it's just not good enough. Ex-Epsilon, they needed the round. They needed, probably all the rounds in the second half so far. And this back and forth nature that we're seeing in the second half is not healthy. Could potentially be the final round of the game then. We'll have to see. Maybe, again, on another week by Ex-Epsilon can pull it out of the bag. 2 scouts. Always like to see the scouts. But other than that, not a great deal to write home about. A kit for Spellan. Not very much hope in this round for Ex-Epsilon. They're going to need an individual more likely than not to step up. Or perhaps one of these scouts, to open the doors, open the way into the round. Maybe not even kills, but tags, right? The UMP and the Deagle would love that. Fight a bit more at long range. Illuminar are really winding the clock down, however. Surreal going to get tagged up. Pretty damn low. He actually is still alive here. Thomas has lost his teammate. Gets a tag in onto 1. Oscarish is a little trapped on that corner. But I think both teams are unsure. Illuminar don't want to be walking into a stack. They're really winding the clock down here. Sending the feelers out there. Another kill onto Crucial. Another kill onto Oscarish, though. So still being kept even across the board. Thomas getting slightly more aggressive. Misses the shot. But gains a bit of information. The smokestacks come in now. These players are so very low. Through the wall. Down goes 1. Surreal quickly follows. It's all onto NK. It's only 10 seconds, but they're going to easily get the bomb down because he's so very far away. A 1v3 required. Going to have to step it up massively. I mean, he's been playing relatively decently considering how dominating the game has been. Innocent, though, will push forwards, and he spins around at the wrong time. NK, a heartbreaking way to lose the game, but a heartbreaking game overall. I mean, as I had said, just not what we would have expected at all from those two teams. Thought it was going to be a hell of a lot closer. It ends up being 16-4. Ex-Epsilon, think Overpass a bit of a difficult one. There are clearly kinks that need working out just within the team itself. The general protocol and structures on that T side definitely lacking, and maybe it could have been closer if they started on the CT side where a rotational kind of call is a little easier to make than an entire mid-round call, and working with the information and keeping your players in check, especially a player like Thomas who can be a little looser in style. Sometimes, like I say, it works brilliantly. Sometimes, as in that game, not to its fullest potential. And I think that's the whole thing with Ex-Epsilon. They're not to their fullest potential. Really dominating first game. But, of course, we've got a Vanguard coming up next, up against Havu. Going to be a pretty interesting one on Inferno. So hopefully they provide us with a little bit of a closer game. Stick around, folks. We'll be back.